Welcome back to the channel, coin collectors and history lovers. Today we're diving deep into four fascinating Lincoln cents that many collectors search for every single day: the 1944 1 cent, the 1946 1 cent, the 1951 D1 cent, and the 1956 1 cent. These coins may look small, but each one carries powerful history, minting secrets, and hidden value that could surprise you. Let's start with the 1944 Lincoln cent. The 1944 1-cent coin of the United States is one of the most historically important and widely collected pennies in American numismatics. This coin belongs to the famous Lincoln Wheat Cent series, officially known as the Lincoln Wheat Cent, which was produced from 1909 until 1958. The 1944 issue represents a powerful moment in American history because it was struck during the final years of World War II, at a time when the nation was deeply involved in global conflict and industrial production was focused on supporting the war effort. Understanding the 1944 penny requires looking at its historical background, metal composition, minting process, varieties, errors, value, and its place in the larger story of American coinage. The obverse of the 1944 1-cent coin features the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. This design was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner and was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. It was the first regular-issue United States coin to feature a real historical person rather than a symbolic representation like Liberty. On the front of the coin, Lincoln faces to the right. Above his head appears the motto, "In God We Trust." To the left of the portrait is the word Liberty, and to the right is the date 1944. If the coin was struck at certain branch mints, a small mint mark appears just below the date. Coins struck in Philadelphia in 1944 do not carry a mint mark, while those produced in Denver carry a D, and those from San Francisco carry an S. The reverse side of the 1944 penny displays two wheat stalks curving along the left and right edges of the coin. Between these wheat stalks appear the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, with the motto E Pluribus Unum at the top. This reverse design is why collectors commonly call these coins wheat pennies. The wheat ears symbolize prosperity and agricultural strength, reflecting America's farming heritage and economic foundation. The reverse design remained in use until 1958, after which it was replaced in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial Reverse. The 1944 penny holds special significance because it came immediately after the famous 1943 steel cent. In 1943, due to wartime copper shortages, the United States Mint produced pennies using zinc-coated steel instead of the usual bronze composition. However, the steel cents were unpopular with the public because they rusted easily and were often confused with dimes due to their silver color. As a result, in 1940, the mint returned to using a copper-based composition. Interestingly, much of the metal used in 1944 cents came from recycled shell casings collected from military training facilities. These shell cases were melted down and reused to produce coinage. This gives the 1944 penny a unique wartime connection, as many collectors like to say that these coins were made from the brass of American ammunition used in defense of freedom. The standard composition of the 1944 Lincoln cent is 95% copper and 5% zinc. Some earlier wartime cents had tin in the alloy, but by 1944, the typical mixture was copper and zinc. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. The edge is plain, without reeds. Because of its high copper content, the coin has a reddish-brown appearance when new. Over time, depending on storage conditions and circulation, the color can change to red-brown or fully brown. Collectors categorize copper coins by color: red for coins retaining most of their original mint luster, red-brown for coins showing partial toning, and brown for coins that have darkened completely. In 1944, pennies were minted at 3 different facilities. The United States Mint operated the main mint in Philadelphia, as well as branch mints in Denver and San Francisco. Philadelphia struck the largest number of 1944 cents, producing well over 1 billion coins. Denver also produced hundreds of millions of cents, and San Francisco contributed a significant total as well. Because of these high mintages, the 1944 penny is generally considered common in circulated condition. Many examples still exist today, making it affordable for new collectors who are building a complete Lincoln wheat cent set. Despite its common status, there are certain rare varieties and errors that make some 1944 pennies extremely valuable. One of the most famous errors is the 1944 steel cent. Although steel planchets were intended only for use in 1943, a few leftover steel blanks were accidentally fed into the presses in 1944. As a result, a small number of 1944 pennies were struck on steel planchets instead of copper. These coins are extremely rare and highly valuable. Only a limited number are known to exist from Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. A genuine 1944 steel cent can sell for tens of thousands of dollars, depending on condition. Collectors must be careful, however, because altered coins exist. Some individuals plate normal 1944 copper cents with steel or modify 1943 steel cents by changing the date. Authentication by a professional grading service is strongly recommended for any suspected steel example. Another important variety is the 1944 D over S mint mark variety. In some cases, a die originally prepared with an S mint mark was altered with a D, creating a visible overlap. This variety is collected by specialists and can command a premium. There are also double die varieties, where parts of the design appear double due to misalignment during the die creation process. While most 1944 double dies are minor, they still attract attention from error collectors. In circulated grades such as good, very good, fine, or very fine, most 1944 pennies are worth only a small premium above face value, often a few cents or perhaps a dollar depending on condition and mint mark. In extremely fine or about uncirculated condition, values rise modestly. Uncirculated examples with strong red color can be worth significantly more, particularly those graded by major third-party grading companies. High-grade examples graded MS65 red or higher are especially desirable because many coins from that era show contact marks or toning due to wartime handling and storage practices. The 1944 Lincoln cent also reflects the broader economic and social climate of its time. During World War II, the United States economy was heavily focused on military production. Factories that once produced consumer goods shifted to making tanks, airplanes, and ammunition. The return to copper coinage in 1944 symbolized improved resource the advanced collectors. Pursuing rare errors like the steel cent or mint mark varieties adds challenge and excitement. Over the decades, auction records for rare 1944 error cents have demonstrated the strong demand in the numismatic market. Certified examples of 1944 steel cents have sold for impressive prices at major coin auctions. The rarity of these pieces ensures continued collector interest. Meanwhile, common 1944 copper cents remain widely traded, often sold in rolls or bulk lots for hobbyists. Next, let's move to the 1946 Lincoln cent. The 1946 1-cent coin of the United States is part of the historic Lincoln wheat cent series, one of the most collected and recognized coins in American numismatics. The year 1946 is especially meaningful because it marks the first full year of coin production after the end of World War II. While the war officially ended in 1945, the economic and industrial effects continued into 1946. The 1946 penny reflects a period when America was transitioning from wartime production back to peacetime growth, rebuilding global relationships, and adjusting its domestic economy. The obverse of the 1946 Lincoln cent features the right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. This portrait was designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner and was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The design was groundbreaking at the time because it marked the first regular United States circulating coin to feature a real historical figure rather than a symbolic image of liberty. Above Lincoln's head appears the motto, "In God We Trust." To the left is the word liberty, and to the right is the date 1946. If the coin was struck at a branch mint, a mint mark appears just below the date. Coins produced in Philadelphia do not carry a mint mark, while those struck in Denver have a D, and coins from San Francisco have an S. The reverse of the 1946 penny displays the classic wheat design that gives the series its popular nickname, Wheat Penny. Two wheat ears curve along the left and right edges of the coin, symbolizing America's agricultural strength and prosperity. Between the wheat stalks are the words 1 cent and United States of America. At the top appears a Latin motto, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. This reverse design remained in use until 1958, after which it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. The composition of the 1946 Lincoln cent returned to the traditional bronze alloy used before and after the war. Unlike the famous 1943 steel cent and the 1944 to 1945 shell-case copper cents, the 1946 issue was made from a stable mixture of 95% copper and 5% zinc. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. It features a plain edge without reading. Because of its high copper content, the coin originally had a bright reddish appearance when freshly struck. Over time, depending on circulation and storage conditions, many coins tone to red-brown or deep brown. Collectors classify these color variations as red RD, red-brown RB, or brown BN, and coins with full original red color typically command higher prices in uncirculated grades. In 1946, the United States Mint operated 3 facilities that produced Lincoln cents. Philadelphia struck the largest quantity, with more than 900 million coins produced. Denver and San Francisco also struck hundreds of millions of cents. Because mintages were high, the 1946 penny is generally considered common in circulated condition. It is easy to find examples in lower grades, and they are often included in bulk lots of wheat pennies sold to beginners. Even though the 1946 penny is common, condition plays a major role in determining its value. In heavily circulated grades such as good or very good, the coin typically carries only a small premium over face value. In fine or very fine condition, details in Lincoln's hair and coat become clearer, and the wheat lines on the reverse are more defined. In extremely fine or about uncirculated condition, the coin retains most of its original design detail, with only slight wear. Uncirculated coins that still show full mint luster are more desirable, particularly those graded MS65 red or higher by professional grading services. High-grade red examples from Denver and San Francisco can bring stronger premiums due to collector demand for complete mint sets. While there are no major famous era varieties like the 1943 steel cent or the rare 1944 steel cent, the 1946 Lincoln cent does have minor varieties and mint errors that interest specialists. Some coins show repunch mint marks, especially from the Denver and San Francisco mints. A repunch mint mark occurs when the mint mark was struck into the die more than once in slightly different positions, creating a shadow-like doubling effect. There are also minor double die varieties, though none are considered extremely rare or dramatically valuable compared to earlier famous double dies. Collectors who enjoy variety hunting often examine 1946 pennies under magnification to search for these small differences. The 1946 penny also has historical importance beyond its metal and design. It represents America's shift from wartime emergency measures back to economic stability. During the war, metal resources were strictly controlled, and coin production sometimes reflected material shortages. By 1946, the United States was rebuilding and expanding its economy. Factories that had been producing military equipment began transitioning to consumer goods. The return to large-scale copper coin production reflected renewed industrial capacity and a stable metal supply. From a collecting standpoint, the 1946 Lincoln cent is an essential piece in any Lincoln wheat cent collection. Because it is affordable, it provides an accessible entry point for new collectors learning about grading and mint marks. Many hobbyists begin by assembling a complete wheat penny set from 1909 to 1958, and the 1946 issue is an easy but necessary part of that journey. For advanced collectors, the challenge lies in locating superb gem-quality red examples with minimal spots or carbon marks, as copper coins are highly sensitive to environmental damage. The strike quality of 1946 cents varies. Some coins show sharp detail in Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks, while others appear slightly weakly struck, especially in areas of high relief. Storage conditions also affect the coin's appearance. Because copper reacts with moisture and air, improper storage can lead to spotting, discoloration, or corrosion. Collectors are advised to store copper coins in dry, stable environments using protective holders designed for long-term preservation. In the marketplace, circulated 1946 pennies typically sell for only a small premium, often between a few cents and $1 depending on condition. Uncirculated examples in lower mint state grades are affordable, but prices rise for coins with strong eye appeal and original red surfaces. Certified high-grade coins graded MS66 or higher can command significantly higher prices, especially from Denver or San Francisco mints. The 1946 Lincoln wheat cent remains popular because of its combination of history, affordability, and classic design. It connects collectors to the immediate post-war era, a time of optimism and rebuilding in the United States. The image of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of unity and leadership during another time of national crisis, adds further depth to the coin's meaning. Though it may not be rare in most grades, its historical context and enduring design ensure its place in American numismatic collections. Now, let's talk about the 1951 D. Lincoln cent. The 1951 D1 cent coin is part of the historic Lincoln wheat cent series, one of the longest-running and most collected coin designs in United States history. Issued during the early 1950s, this coin reflects a period of post-World War II growth, industrial expansion, and rising interest in coin collecting across America. Although the 1951 D cent is generally considered a common date within the wheat cent series, it remains an important piece for collectors completing date and mint sets, and for those studying mid-20th century United States coinage. The obverse of the 1951 D cent features the right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This portrait was created by Lithuanian-born sculptor Victor David Brenner and was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The design was historically significant because it marked the first time a real historical figure appeared on a regular issue circulating United States coin. Prior to this, most U.S. coins featured symbolic representations of liberty. On the obverse, the motto "In God We Trust" appears above Lincoln's head. The word liberty is positioned to the left, and the date 1951 is placed to the right. Directly beneath the date appears a small D mint mark, indicating that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint facility. The reverse of the 1951 D cent displays the classic wheat design that gives the series its popular nickname, the wheat penny. Two stylized wheat stalks frame the left and right sides of the reverse, symbolizing America's agricultural heritage and prosperity. Centered between the wheat stalks are the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. Above these inscriptions is the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. This reverse design remained in use from 1909 until the end of 1958, after which it was replaced in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial design to mark Lincoln's 150th birthday. The 1951 D cent was struck at the Denver branch of the United States Mint. During 1951, the Denver Mint produced over 625 million Lincoln cents, making it one of the higher mintage issues of that year. Because of this large production number, the 1951 D cent is widely available in circulated grades and is generally affordable for collectors. However, despite its high mintage, truly superb uncirculated examples with strong strike quality and full red luster can be more challenging to find, particularly in gem mint state grades. The composition of the 1951 D cent follows the traditional bronze alloy used for most wheat cents after World War II. The coin consists of 95% copper and 5% zinc. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. The edge is plain, without any reading, because of its high copper content. The coin originally displayed a bright orange-red color when newly struck. Over time, exposure to air, moisture, and handling causes the copper surface to tone, resulting in red-brown or deep brown coloration. Collectors classify copper coins by color designation, red RD. For coins retaining most of their original mint red luster, red-brown RB. For partially toned coins, and brown BN for coins that have fully toned. In circulated condition, the 1951 Descent typically shows where on the highest points of the design. On the obverse, the most noticeable where it appears on Lincoln's cheek, jawline, and hair above the ear. On the reverse, where it's often visible on the wheat stalks, particularly along the upper lines and kernels. In lower grades such as good or very good, much of the finer detail is worn smooth. In fine or very fine grades, more hair detail and wheat line definition remain visible. Extremely fine examples retain sharp detail, with only light wear on the highest points. About uncirculated coins show minimal friction, and may still display traces of original luster. Mint State 1951. Descents are common, but condition quality can vary significantly. Many examples display small contact marks, carbon spots, or uneven toning. Coins graded MS63 or MS64 are relatively easy to obtain at modest cost. However, coins graded MS65 red or higher become more desirable due to their strong eye appeal and preservation. At the highest certified levels, such as MS66 red and above, the population becomes more limited, and prices can increase substantially, especially for coins with clean surfaces and vibrant luster. The strike quality of 1951 descents is generally decent, but some examples may show slightly weaker detail in Lincoln's hair or in the wheat kernels on the reverse. Strike strength can vary depending on die condition and production speed at the Denver Mint. During periods of high output, dies sometimes wore down before being replaced, leading to minor softness in detail. Collectors who seek premium examples often look for coins with sharp, well-defined wheat lines and crisp lettering. Although the 1951 descent does not have a major famous double die variety like some earlier wheat cents, there are minor varieties and mint errors known. Some coins show repunched mint marks, where the D mint mark was punched into die more than once at slightly different angles or positions, creating a shadow-like doubling effect. These varieties are collectible among specialists. Additionally, off-center strikes, clip planchets, and other typical mint errors occasionally appear for this date. While most of these errors are not extremely rare, they can add collector interest and value depending on severity and condition. Historically, the year 1951 was part of the early Cold War era. The United States was experiencing economic expansion, population growth, and increasing global influence. The Korean War was ongoing, and the nation was investing heavily in industry and defense. Coin production during this time was stable and efficient, reflecting the strength of American manufacturing. The 1951 descent circulated widely in everyday commerce, used in grocery stores, vending machines, and small transactions across the country. From a collector's perspective, the 1951 descent is an essential component of a complete Lincoln wheat cent set. Many collectors assembled date and mint collections covering 1909 through 1958. The 1951 D issue is typically considered an easier date to acquire, but collectors aiming for high-grade sets pay close attention to surface preservation and color quality. Because copper is highly reactive, proper storage is critical. Coins should be stored in a dry, temperature-controlled environment, using archival safe holders to prevent corrosion or spotting. Market values for the 1951 descent vary depending on grade and color designation. In heavily circulated grades, the coin may be worth only a few cents above face value. In very fine or extremely fine condition, values remain modest but slightly higher. In mint state grades, particularly with full red color, the coin can be worth several dollars or more. Premium gem examples graded MS66 red or higher can reach significantly higher prices due to collector demand for top-quality specimens. The enduring popularity of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series contributes to continued interest in the 1951 D issue. The classic wheat design, combined with the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, creates a timeless appearance that appeals to both beginner and advanced collectors. Even though it is not a rare date, the 1951 descent represents a specific moment in American history and reflects the stable coinage practices of the early 1950s. Finally, we come to the 1956 Lincoln cent. The 1956 1-cent coin is part of the historic Lincoln Wheat Cent series, one of the most popular and widely collected coin series in United States history. By 1956, The Lincoln wheat cent had already been in circulation for nearly half a century, having first been introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln. The 1956 issue represents the later years of the wheat cent era, just 2 years before the reverse design was replaced in 1959 with the Lincoln Memorial design. Although the 1956 cent is not considered rare, it holds steady importance for collectors building complete wheat cent collections and serves as a strong example of mid-20th century American coinage. The obverse of the 1956 cent features the right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VDB, appear in small letters at the base of Lincoln's shoulder on the obverse, a detail that has become an identifying feature of the series. The inscription, "In God We Trust," appears along the upper rim above Lincoln's head. The word "Liberty" is positioned to the left of the portrait, while the date 1956 appears to the right. If the coin was struck at a branch mint, a mint mark appears directly below the date. Coins struck at Philadelphia in 1956 carry no mint mark, while those produced at Denver display a small D. The reverse of the 1956 penny displays the classic wheat ears design that defines the wheat cent series. 2 stylized wheat stalks curve upward along the left and right edges of the coin, symbolizing prosperity and agricultural strength in the United States. Centered between the wheat stalks are the words 1 cent and United States of America. At the top of the reverse appears a Latin motto, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. This reverse design remained in use from 1909 through 1958, making it one of the longest-running reverse designs in American coin history. The 1956 cent was struck at 2 facilities operated by the United States Mint. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 420 million cents in 1956, while the Denver Mint struck more than 1 billion cents that year. The Denver issue, known as the 1956 D cent, has a significantly higher mintage and is extremely common in circulated grades. Because of these high production numbers, the 1956 cent is generally considered a common date in the wheat cent series. However, condition and color still play a major role in determining value. The composition of the 1956 cent is 95% copper and 5% zinc, consistent with most Lincoln cents struck after World War II. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. It has a plain edge with no reading. When newly minted, the coin displayed a bright reddish-orange luster due to its high copper content. Over time, natural oxidation causes the surface to darken, resulting in red-brown or fully brown coloration. Collectors categorize copper coins by color, red RD, for coins retaining at least 95% of their original mint red color, red-brown RB, for coins with a mix of red and brown tones, and brown BN for coins that have fully toned. In circulated condition, 1956 cents are very common and often worth only a small premium above face value. In lower grades, such as good or very good, Lincoln's hair detail is mostly worn flat, and the wheat lines on the reverse may be partially blended. In fine and very fine grades, more detail is visible in Lincoln's hair and coat, and the wheat kernels show clearer definition. Extremely fine examples retain most design details with only slight wear on the highest points, such as Lincoln's cheek and jawline. About uncirculated coins may show minimal friction, but still maintain much of their original luster. Uncirculated 1956 cents are widely available due to the large mintages and the growing popularity of coin collecting during the 1950s. Many individuals save rolls of new pennies directly from banks, anticipating future value increases. As a result, mint state examples are not difficult to find. However, high-grade examples with strong eye appeal, minimal contact marks, and full red color are more desirable. Coins graded MS65 red are popular among collectors building high-quality sets. In even higher grades such as MS66 or MS67 red, the population becomes smaller and prices increase significantly, especially for coins with vibrant luster and clean surfaces. The 1956 cent is also known for a notable variety called the 1956 double die obverse. While not as dramatic as the famous 1955 double die cent, some 1956 Cents display noticeable doubling on the date and lettering. These double die examples are collectible and can command premiums depending on the strength of the doubling and overall condition. Collectors often use magnification to examine the date and inscriptions for signs of doubling or other die variations. In addition to double dies, minor repunch mint marks and common mint errors, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, and clipped planchets can also be found for this date. The year 1956 was a time of economic growth and relative stability in the United States. The country was experiencing expansion in manufacturing, suburban development, and consumer spending. The Lincoln cent remained an essential part of daily commerce, used in small purchases and frequently handled by millions of Americans. The coin's design had become familiar and iconic by this time, representing both national heritage and everyday practicality. From a collector's perspective, the 1956 cent represents one of the final chapters of the wheat cent era. Just 2 years later, in 1959, the reverse design was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial, marking a new era in the cent's history. As a result, the 1956 issue carries a sense of historical transition, standing near the end of a classic design that had been in use for nearly 50 years. Market values for the 1956 cent depend largely on grade and color designation. Circulated examples are typically inexpensive. Uncirculated brown or red-brown examples carry modest premiums. Full red mint state coins in gem condition are more valuable, especially those certified by professional grading services. High-grade specimens with strong strike quality and minimal spotting are the most sought after. Proper storage is important for preserving copper coins, like the 1956 cent copper is highly reactive and can develop spots or corrosion if exposed to moisture or air pollutants. Collectors are encouraged to store coins in archival quality holders and in stable environmental conditions to maintain their original color and luster. Even though these pennies may seem ordinary, they represent important moments in American history, from World War II to post-war recovery and economic growth. And remember, sometimes the smallest coins can hold the biggest surprises. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1944, 1946, 1951D, and 1956 Lincoln cents, make sure to subscribe, and turn on notifications. You never know which coin in your pocket could be worth far more than 1 cent.